performing on December 17th.
It's too soon. We're not announcing on it yet. It's probably next week we'll start announcing things. Send it to me when you know. Regime. Adonai oz le'amo yiten Adonai yivarech et amo 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 Vashalom Good Shabbos. It is so wonderful to be with all of you this evening. My name is Raymond Zachary. For those who don't know me, I am the Shaliach Tzibor here at Congregation Bnai Tzedek. And it's so wonderful to be with everyone as we bring in another Shabbat. I'd love for, first things first, everyone go ahead and close your eyes and take in a deep breath. And as we exhale, let out all the ickies that this week had. I feel like there were a lot of ickies. And inhale as we feel the tension of the week, and we exhale with the relaxation of Shabbat. Before our service begins, I have just a few brief reminders. If you could do me a favor and take out those mega supercomputers that we keep at our fingertips and set those to airplane mode and do not disturb. Also, in the rare and unlikely event of an emergency, we have emergency exits both in the front and the rear of the sanctuary, which hopefully we won't have to use until we're all going through the back wall to schmooze. So, I would be remiss if I didn't mention that Cantor Sagan is taking a very well-deserved night off, but wishes she was here with all of you. We had a wonderful week, and she wanted to spend Shabbat with her family, which is a very, Jewish feeling, and I said, go for it. So we are all here together and wishing Cantor Sagan and the whole mishpacha a Shabbat Shalom. I also want to thank Brandy Cohen for sitting on the bima this evening. It's Brandy's understudy, Mark. Thank you for joining us. Tonight is going to be a wonderful night because whilst the cat is away, the mice shall be perfectly behaved. That being said, we've got some fun new tunes that I'll be introducing this evening, so let us know what you like and what you don't like and the sound of everything. I also want to welcome, we have some students visiting for comparative religion courses from several different schools, so welcome to all of you. And if our CBT people, if we see someone that we don't know or recognize at the Oneg, please stop and say hello and make them feel nice and welcome. With that, I think we should begin, as we do all wonderful things, with a little bit of light. And so I'd like to invite Steve Maybaum up to light our Shabbat candles, which can be found on pages 2 and 3 in our Sidurs. And I'll ask the congregation to please rise.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled the light, so may we, in our own way, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvoto, v'tzivanu l'halak ner shel Shabbat. Blessed art you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to kindle the light of Shabbat.
Amen. You may be seated. Friends, Shabbat is a sequence of welcome. And we'll start this beautiful welcome train as we welcome the Shabbat angels on page 24 with Shalom Aleichem. And then we'll move into welcoming our Shabbat bride with Lecha Dodi until finally we can welcome in our formal evening worship, our Ma'ariv service with the Baruch Hu. But I think it's ever so beautiful that on page 24, we encounter this text, and it's pretty much the same every verse except one word. We change that the peace should be upon us, that they should enter in peace, they should bless us in peace, and finally, they should go in peace. But recent commentators have changed that last verse. Instead of tzeitchem l'shalom, they say shuvchem l'shalom, that they should return in peace, and that peace should not be just a one-time coming and going. However, being the traditionalist that my mother raised me to be, we're going to stick with what the book says, because otherwise it costs a lot to reprint them. So tonight we will be singing Tzeitchem, but I'd love us in our hearts to shuvchem every week and to take this piece into the next week with us. Shalom Aleichem, Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malchei HaMlachim, HaKadosh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malchei HaMlachim, HaKadosh Baruch מלאכי השלום, מלאכי השרת, מלאכי עליון, מי מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש, הקדוש ברוך הוא. שתיכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, מי מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא. שלום עליכם, שלום עליכם, מלאכי השרת, מלאכי עליון, מי מלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש, הקדוש ברוך הוא. Continue on page 20 with Lecha Dodi as we sing verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. לקראת שבת, לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה. welcome Shabbat, turn to the person next to you and welcome them and say Shabbat Shalom. And now that we have all been greeted, I'll invite us to remain standing as we turn now to page 28 for our call to prayer, the Baruch Hu. If you've been seated, I'll invite you to please rise. Join together on page 30 in the Hebrew. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim bechokma poteach she'arim uvitvuna meshane itim umafhalif et hazmanim umesader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono Borei yom v'layla golel or mipnei choshech v'choshech mipnei or umavir yom umevi layla umavdil ben yom uvein layla Adonai tzvaot shemo El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Friends, on page 32, as we've welcomed not only our evening worship, but we've welcomed the evening with Ma'ariv Aravim as God turns day into night at about 2 o'clock every afternoon nowadays. We begin the loveliest portion of our service, our prayers of love, with Ahavat Olam, declaring the love of God, but right before our most precious words of Shema Yisrael. And so I'll invite us to join together in the English on the bottom of page 33. Wisdom and wonder, passion and instruction, story and symbol, all these things your Torah gives to us, and the more we devote ourselves to it, the more it grows and gives. What could be a truer token of your abiding love than the holiest of your works? A living language it gives form. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu at this point that we often chant Ve'ahavta. And it happened this week as I was teaching a student on Wednesday who chanted the Ve'ahavta beautifully and mispronounced every single word. Because they were doing it completely from memory. And they say, I come to every service on every Friday night, and I'm there almost every Saturday morning. And I said, that's wonderful. But what does this mean? What are you saying? And they said, I have no idea. A side note, this is also a student whom I love dearly and who gave me permission to tell this story. When I was first teaching them how to read and decode Hebrew, we taught the letters Aleph and Bet, and we pieced them together, Aleph, Bet, Aleph, to blend and read Abba. And I said, you just read your first Hebrew word, Abba. Do you know what that means? They said, yes. They sang Mamma Mia. God, I love teaching Hebrew school. But because of that, I'll invite us to do something a little unorthodox this evening and read together the bottom half, which, as we know, the way our prayer book is laid out, it's normally a more direct translation of the text that we often overlook or simply chant from memory. So let's join together in the understanding of these words. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these instructions with which I charge you this day. Impress them upon your children. Recite them when you stay at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you rise up. Bind them as a sign on your hand and let them serve as a symbol on your forehead. Inscribe them on the doorposts of your house and upon your gates. Thus shall you remember and observe all of my commandments and be holy to your God. I am Adonai, your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai, your God, Adonai Elohechem Emet. The God that brought us out of Egypt. And in that beautiful moment, as we began this service with the releasing of such tension, just imagine the release of tension as we crossed to the other side of the sea. We sang Mi Chamocha, which can be found on page 40, Liberation's song. And this evening, I want to bring to you a new setting of this. What's really beautiful is it's meant to, can you underscore the thank you, it's so pretty. It's meant to feel the ebb and flow of the waves as they closed behind us. And so with that, I'll invite you to call and respond. I'll help and you'll respond to me just what I sing exactly to you. And Brigitte will help out. We'll play some notes. It'll be beautiful. And we can hopefully build a sea of freedom together. את יעקב ומגדלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. Continue with Hashkivenu on page 42. הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. I always say it's so interesting the way our prayers are laid out almost chronologically. First we are freed from Egypt with Mi Chamocha, and then we go into the wilderness and we build our Sukkot Shalom, our shelters of peace, and once we've secured those walls, we celebrate. And CBT only knows one way to celebrate Shabbat when it comes to page 44. השביעי רצית בו וקידשתו שבת, חמדת ימים אותו קראת, זכר למעשה בראשית, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת, ישמחו במלכותך, שומרי 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 שבת וקורא עונג שבת. Ooh, it hits just right every time. Friends, on page 46 we find our central prayer, our Amidah, where we take time to first thank God for what we have, seems fitting for this season, and then we take time to ask not only for ourselves but for those in need. And so as we encounter this text together, I'll invite you to please rise as we begin on page 46. Take some time now for our own private meditations, either using the words of the book or the words within our own hearts. I'll invite you to be seated when you've completed your prayers, but for now, we take a moment to commune with the divine. צור לשוני מרע ושפתי מדבר מרמה ואם קל אלי נפשי תדום ונפשי כעפר לחול תהיה אלוהי נצור לשוני מרע ושפתי מדבר מרמה ואם קל אלי נפשי תדום, ונפשי כעפר לחול תהיה. פתח ליבי, פתח ליבי, פתח ליבי, פתח ליבי בתורתך ובמצוותיך תרדוף נפשי. אלוהי נצור לשוני מרע ושפתיים נדבר מרמה, והנקל אלי נפשי תדום ונפשי כעפר לחול תהיה. פתח ליבי, פתח ליבי, פתח ליבי, פתח ליבי בתורתך ובמצוותיך תרדוף נפשי. פתח ליבי, פתח ליבי. May the words of our hearts and the meditations of our mouth be ever acceptable to you, Adonai. Amen. Friends, on page 244, we find Seder Kriyat Torah, the service for the reading of Torah. I'll invite my understudy to come on up. As the congregation please rise as the ark is open. at rest, you may be at rest. Please be seated. This week, I'm going to mention it now because it's not in my sermon later. This week we read about two brothers fighting. It's never happened before. We hear about Jacob and Esau, and funny enough, we were discussing every set. Actually, I'll pose this as a trivia question. Anyone here know the only set of brothers in our biblical tradition that do not fight? Close. Oh, it's right there. Yes, Manasseh and Ephraim, who are the sons of a guy, and a gal, funny enough. Joseph. Joseph's sons are the only ones that know peace. They were the ones to break the cycle. But we're not reading about them today. So I have no transition out of that, except I feel like the transition from fighting should be to one of joy. And someone who brings me great joy is who's on my list this evening to get an Aliyah, which is Faith. So I'll invite you up for our Aliyah this evening. Parshat Toldot can be found in your Plout commentaries if you want to follow along, starting on page 137. That's not right. 73. 173. 1 second. Just a second.
Do I have to use the box?
Yes, please. Is it on?
No.
Try to switch.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. Where are we starting? Okay. It's right in the middle. Hold on, right there. You can give me a kiss right there.
Right there? Baruch Hu Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Leolam Vaed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Bachar Banu Mikol Ha'amim Venatan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Over here. Amen. Vayamar Yaakov Heishav li kol yom ishavo lo va'amar sav et bechoto le'Yaakov ve'ekra naten la'asiv Lachem lanishmad ad sham va'akol ve'shamat ya'acham ve'koram b'nei asav b'nei asav et habachom.
Baruch Adonai Hamvarach Leolam. Oh, I'm sorry. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam Asher Natan Lanu Torat Emet V'chayei Olam Nata Betochenu. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Amen. Mi sheberach avotenu ve'imotenu Abraham, Yitzchak, ve'Yaakov, Sarah, Rivka, Rachel, ve'Leah. May the God and God of our ancestors before us bless you who have come up in front of this entire Kehillah Kedoshah, this holy community, in honor of God, in honor of Shabbat, and in honor of Torah. And are we honoring anything else? Are we celebrating something?
Yes,
What are we celebrating?
we just passed my 90th birthday.
Your 90th birthday. I didn't know we were saying it. We're saying it. 90th birthday.
Yeah.
Mazel tov, mazel tov, mazel tov. If you could give us...
My dad.
Sure.
Usually you say Bat. My dad's name was Abraham, and my mother's name was Rivka.
How prophetic. I love it. Anything you can tell us about your 90 years on this beautiful earth that could get us to hopefully our 90th? One nugget of wisdom?
Be humble. Be humble and be kind to people. There's so little kindness in the world. Be
Amen.
humble and kind.
Don't give away my sermon. Amen. Amen. And happy birthday.
Thank you.
We were page 173. But now we're going to turn our hearts to those in need of a little strength, who hopefully don't have enough strength to fight with the siblings. Their strength is turned to something better. Strength is turned into healing. And I got to do one of my favorite things this morning was sit with Sarah in our office and take some names off of this list. It's always so wonderful when we get the calls and say, the surgery went fine, take them off the list. It's always beautiful. And unfortunately, we got some emails that needed to be put on the list. And so our hearts turn to those in need of healing of body, of mind, and of spirit. And this week, our congregation is thinking of Mira Adler, Susan Artunian, Anne Bulgarin, Lee Betterman, Earl Benton, Florence Benton, Joshua Buchanan, Ellen Cervantes, Daryl Childers, Dan Constantino, Karen Cox, Maria Deed, Harriet Dolgan, Nadja Dvorkin, Emma Lynn Fries, Gail Goldberg, Jeff Harbour, Barbara Heimov, Mike Hatch, Barry Horowitz, Michelle Kaufman, and Wayne Kaufman, Mike Kibble and Susan Kibble, Tammy Klein, Chad Lemrow, Ari Levy, Stephen Lesser, Keith McCaney, Terry O'Brien, Celio Gianna Pena, Avi Perry, Arlene Reskenya, Bonnie Richmond, Carol Rosen, Stephanie Rosen, Robert Ross, Larry Rubin, Denise Sagan, Sydney Scarmenti, Jerry Sirota, Stan Sirota, Ed Sherman, Janet Schomer, Ginger Schulman, Dean Stapleton, Lee Sterling, Noah Tobkin, Jessica Trinidad, Maureen Udelf, Balin Weintraub, Jan Weitz, Dave Westler, Renee Zelani, Aaron Ben Yosef, Bonaliba Batarut, Cody Ben Chana, Dov Aaron Ben Esther, Esther Malka Chana Bat Batya Ruth, Greta Goldstein Gettel Bat Itka, Harav Chana Bat Moshe Veriza Itka, Rachel Glida Michael Gedalia Ben Avram Vasara, Rivka Bat Neshama, Sarah Bat Elisheva, Shira Chana Bat Yehudit, Yehudit Rina Bat Chana Pnina, Yosef Ben Litva Adina, and Yosef Ben Moshe. I apologize for any mispronounced names, and as my hand goes around or as my eyes meet yours, I'll invite you to feel free to correct me and also add anyone in our hearts this evening in need of healing. Hearts and prayers are with them all as we sing these words together. Mi sheberach avotenu Avraham Yitzchak veYaakov. bagalau bizman kariv v'nomar amen. May God send them a refuah shlema, a speedy and complete recovery. As together we say, amen. We will continue as the Torah is lifted, and the Torah, of course, is meant to be a multi-sensory experience. We got to touch Torah and hear Torah. Now we get to see Torah, and I always say if you got close enough to smell Torah, you got too close. I'll invite you to please rise as the Torah is lifted and dressed. Shabbat Shalom. Every year around this time, as Thanksgiving approaches, we're invited to think about gratitude. What we have and whom we cherish and the blessings that sustain us. And yet, as we gather in this sacred space, there's another layer to the season. It's an invitation to examine how we show up for one another. Thanksgiving may be about giving thanks, but Shabbat asks us to reflect on how we live up to that thanks and its relationship with gratitude. In 1934, a celebration was instituted by the National Conference of Christians and Jews to be commemorated each February. The festival was called National Brotherhood Week. By the 1980s, National Brotherhood Week had fallen out of fashion, and it is no longer observed today. But there's a song. A satirical and biting and painfully honest by the late, great Tom Lehrer, entitled National Brotherhood Week. If you know it, you're probably already humming it in your mind. But Lehrer pokes at society's attempts to manufacture unity. One stanza goes as follows. The Protestants hate the Catholics, and the Catholics hate the Protestants. The Hindus hate the Muslims, and everybody hates the Jews. He holds up an uncomfortable mirror. We talk a big game about Brotherhood Week, about unity and mutual respect, but it's often performative, superficial, and extremely temporary. Underneath, fear still rumbles. Prejudice still simmers, and the idea of truly loving our neighbors becomes almost laughable when we cannot begin to love ourselves. And so, our tasks on this Shabbat, on the precipice of Thanksgiving, is to say with courage and clarity, for the love of God, let us love one another. Not just for a week or because the calendar demands it, but because our lives, our community, and our world depend on it. In the Torah, we read what Rabbi Eliezer says is the core of our value and the most holy verse, the most ethical teaching. Ve'ahavta l're'echa kamocha. Love your neighbor as yourself. Sounds so simple. But the rabbis teach that this commandment actually contains two mitzvot, not just one. The first is explicit. Love your neighbor. The second is implied, but essential. Love yourself. You cannot give what you don't have. You cannot offer compassion if your cup is empty. You can't extend dignity if you do not believe that you possess it, and you cannot love your neighbor if you do not, on some basic level, love yourself. That's where Leir's satire becomes almost prophetic. The song mocks the forced niceness of this once-a-year brotherhood because it has no depth. Fear and hate peddlers, both in Leir's era and today, shout the loudest not because they see the world clearly, but because they cannot see goodness in themselves. They seek enemies because they cannot locate love. When someone is a stranger in their own heart, of course they can't recognize humanity in someone else's. As we approach Thanksgiving, we often focus on the gratitude that we owe outward toward our families, our friends, our community, our clergy. But what if part of our Thanksgiving practice was inward? What if we paused not only to recognize what we're thankful for, but to recognize the holiness that we can be thankful of? To notice our own resilience, our own worthiness, and our own capacity for kindness. When we fail to do this inner work, we live hollowly, and hollow lives are easily filled with fear. But when we root ourselves in self-love, not arrogance or ego, but genuine compassion, we create a well that can overflow into real, sustained love for others. This doesn't mean we have to ignore the world's brokenness. In fact, loving ourselves and each other gives us the strength and comfort, the strength that we need to comfort and to confront that brokenness honestly. It gives us the courage to refuse the cynicism that Leir exposed and instead to build relationships that aren't built on satire, but on sincerity. Thanksgiving teaches us to notice blessings. Shabbat teaches us to notice holiness. And together, they challenge us to craft a community where love is not a punchline. It's not a once-a-week performance that you show up for on a Friday night. It's a daily practice, and it's a choice you have to make. So, how do we begin? We begin by speaking gently to ourselves. by forgiving ourselves, by taking care of our minds and our bodies, and by acknowledging our own divine spark. And then, because this is never just about us, we take that spark and use it to illuminate others. We listen before we judge. We extend kindness before suspicion. We assume good intentions before we assume the worst. We choose responsibility over resentment, and we refuse. We absolutely 100% of the time refuse to let fear or hatred dictate our moral compass. Tom Lehrer wrote a satire about the failure of society to truly love one another. Our task is to write a different story with our lives. As we enter this season of gratitude, may we remember that love is not weakness. It can be funny, but it's not satire. It is strength. Love is discipline, and love is a sacred obligation. So tonight I offer a simple plea, a hard challenge, and a prayer, all wrapped into one. For the love of God, may we love one another. Amen. We will begin the conclusion of our service with Aleinu L'Shabeach, which can be found on page 282, and I'll invite you all to rise once more as the ark is opened. Aleinu L'Shabeach L'Adon HaKol, L'Teit Gedula L'Yotzer B'Reishit, Shelo Asanu Kigoyei Haratzot, Velo Samanu Kemishpachot Ha'adama, Shelo Sam Chelkeinu Kahem, V'gor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam, V'anachnu Kor'im U'mishtachavim U'modim Livnei Melech Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. V'ne'emar V'haya Adonai Lemelech al kol haaretz Hayom ha'hu Yeh Adonai echad U'shemo echad. You may be seated. As is our custom in every Jewish gathering, we take a moment after we've celebrated together to remember those who are not here to celebrate with us. This week, our community suffered an unfortunate and unexpected loss in Kobe Prutka, who was the son of Carrie, brother to Brody, and grandson to Dale. As is our custom, we can't say Kaddish until after a funeral, which will have details coming soon, but of course, his memory is a beautiful blessing that will continue to be a light. This week, our congregation also remembered those who died in this season and years past. And as you hear the name of your loved one, I'll invite you to rise. This week we remember Neil Bilal, Len Bogan, Abraham Breer, Marie Cohen, Harry Dvorkin, Helen Eisenberg, Susan Gettler, Galerter, thank you. This is all crossed out on my list here. Did you have one? Thank you, I'm so sorry. Someone wrote on this, and I want to make sure I don't screw these up. Karen Gettleman, Shazan Helfler, Harry Horowitz, Jerry Carm, Abraham Jacob Clayman, Jack Kranitz, Sarah Lint, Edward Morantz, Emmanuel Nadler, Edwin Osborne, and Harry Osborne, Julie Oster, Rose Puroin, thank you, Isaac Reingold, Philip Ross, Howard Rotter, Morris Rutter, Louis Salzberg, Natan Saltzman, Elizabeth Schran, thank you, Joan Seid, Rebecca Schulper, Florence Silverman, Rachel Tubar, Maurice Wax, Helene Weinstock, Jack Weissman, Elise Williams, and Ann Wolfe. If there are any, we're also remembering Cantor Jonathan Grant. If there are any corrections or names to be added, I'll invite you to rise and remember your loved ones. We also take a moment to remember those who have no one to say Kaddish for them, our people throughout the ages, those who may have been sellers in an ancient marketplace, or someone crossing the sea with Columbus for religious freedom, someone hiding from a Nazi, or simply staying off of social media. Those names that we don't remember, but whose lights help guide us as we move forward in this life. We remember them. And I'll invite us all now to please rise for the words of Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, which can be found on page 294. Together we say, Yitgadal ve'yitgadash shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach hirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevarach le'olam u'lalmei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudsha brichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us and to all Israels. Together we say, Amen. You may be seated. It is, of course, always my honor to invite a member of our board, and in this case, it is the best brandy understudy I could have ever cast myself, Mark. Our very own.
Taking all my lines. Shabbat Shalom.
I'm laughing and saying it.
I am not Brandy Cohen. I am Mark Goldhammer, representing the Board of Directors. And we have Howard Gordon, who is not Aiden Mayo, being our usher, keeping us safe today. Thank you, Howard. I got to I got to see Raymond and Brigitte at a concert last week, and Raymond was singing notes that Raymond should not be able to sing, and Brigitte was singing also as one of the singers. Hidden talent here that I didn't know about. Okay. If you are planning on coming to services here next week, you need to change your plans. The services will be not at 7 o'clock, they will be at 6 o'clock on Zoom, not on the stream, so cbtzoom.org, that's on here. Raymond will be remotely servicing. Thank you.
I don't think I can follow that. Yes, next week will be on Zoom, mainly because like most of us, will have some sort of indigestion. So we'll be Shabbating from the comfort of our own home at 6 o'clock. That's the really important part. One of the very big and scary words is coming up. It's Hanukkah. We're going to talk about, I'm in denial. I'm still like, oh, our holidays finally ended. But Hanukkah is right around the corner. We've got some fabulous things planned. And I would love to just close out with the same song that we began with. Adonai oz le'amo yiten, Adonai yavarech et amo v'shalom, and God will reign forever and ever and continue to bless the world with peace. Around the person next to you. Adonai, Adonai, oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yevarech et amo. Adonai, oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yevarech et amo. V'shalom. And I've wanted to say, I love this hair.
Oh my gosh.
She came right in and sat down. I couldn't say it. I love it. I've had it all my life. It's time for my favorite part of the service and yours, carbs and liquids. I'll invite any under confirmation age student to come and help me with motzi and kiddush, and I'll invite the congregation to please rise. We thank God for bread from the earth. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz, Shalom, shalom, l'rachok v'lakarov. Peace, peace to those near and far. Good Shabbos.